The Fantastic Four movie might not actually be about the Fantastic Four. Wait a minute. What in the world are we talking about? Well, it turns out that the big MCU movie for the end of summer is going to be about a multiverse, alternate universe Fantastic Four and not a single origin story to be had. It's making audiences sad and perhaps making Marvel wonder just how bad 2025 could possibly be. Hello, welcome one and all, and heed the call for Understanding Entertainment. It is the channel that does so each and every day, 4 times a day. It's the Pro Channel. We're happy you've come this way. Folks, please consider clicking the like button. Attitude of gratitude is what we have for each and every one of you. And by the way, if you like this kind of content, consider hopping on over to the Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/WDW Pro, where we go even more and even deeper into the analysis you need. All right, let's get started. Great panel. You won't believe him. Even Frank is here, and he's brand new when it comes to the Pro Show. We're happy to have him for you. Let's go right now. This one out of that Park Place yet again, but this time it's by Raven Redgrave. Fantastic Four First Steps won't be an origin story. Director and actors make concerning remarks about vital MCU film. So it's going to be one of those where we step into the middle of the action? Oh, I bet that'll get major traction. Fantastic Four First Steps is on its way, and the actors and director have already given hints about what to expect. However, what they've said may be cause for concern. In an exclusive interview with Entertainment Weekly, director Matt Shockman revealed that Fantastic Four First Steps won't, shockingly, be an origin story. One of the ways we're making it our own thing, he said, is we're not telling the story of them going up and being changed and starting our story there. There's a lot of well-known narrative that leads into that moment, right? And then you're making up your new story starting basically at the end of the first act. And we thought, well, let's just start this thing off on a completely new foot. So we are beginning after that. For some, this might raise alarms, especially after Kevin Feige's announcement that the film will take place in an alternate universe. Oh, you mean we get an alternate universe and we don't even get an origin story to know what the heck's going on? This just sounds amazing. Using the multiverse angle could work if done right and in adherence with the source material. However, after Marvel and Disney's track record, they might forego the source material. But then again, it would not be the first time. And continuing on, Matt Shockman previously directed WandaVision. Oh, good. He's also directed episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Fargo, Game of Thrones. While these credentials are decent, the fact that he worked on WandaVision is concerning. The series focused on Wanda Maximoff and her villainous behavior that was ultimately forgiven in the finale. The show was well received by critics, but divisive for Marvel fans. All right, so panel, what say you? This is, by the way, this is the least controversial story we have in the entire lineup. What say you, panel? Is it wise for them to dive straight into the Fantastic Four in an alternate universe that we don't understand without an origin story, or is this more insanity? And maybe weigh in as well on the Silver Surfette if you'd like to take a chance.
Yeah, so essentially, there are some superheroes where you don't have to tell their story because everybody knows it already. Everybody knows that Thomas and Martha Wayne were gunned down in an alleyway. Everyone knows the Krypton blew up. Everyone knows that Uncle Ben got killed. You don't need to tell those stories. To assume that everyone knows that the Fantastic Four went up in a spaceship and got bombarded with cosmic rays is a huge assumption, guys. And I honestly think that it's that's not going to work out well for them. Trying to treat them like people already know who they are. We had 2 Fantastic Four movies that actually came out in theaters that were not very well received. It's not going to be a good thing.
I think we're at 3 on that, by the way, if we count the Fantastic Four.
That first one come out in film? Did it come out in theaters?
No, you mean 3 incarnations or 3 films? Because there was obviously
3 films.
There was 2
I forgot about
Fantastic Fours, and then Fantastic. Yeah, it's sitting here on my shelf, and that's another one where they told the origin story, and they only made it weird.
What about changing the Silver Surfer to the Silver Surfette?
Well, that's just dumb.
That going to be weird?
that's going to be offensive on every level. I mean, to the Shala, the comics. No, the Shala Ball Silver Surfer is barely in the comics. Norrin Rad is the Silver Surfer. He is the version of the Silver Surfer that everyone already knows. This is it's an absolute affront to the source material, to gender swap the Silver Surfer like that.
The thing is, they didn't need to do it.
No, they don't have to do any of this stuff. So let's talk about the release schedule for Marvel, just so everybody's familiar with how badly this could go. In just a couple of weeks, we've got the not Captain America, Captain Un-American.
Captain Un-American.
Yeah, Captain Un-American. That's going to come out in about 2 weeks. Then we have Thunderdolts coming out May 2nd. That's Disney's big May movie. Let me say it again. Disney's big May movie is Thunderdolts. And when do we get Fantastic Four with the Silver Surfette? July 25th, the very end of summer. And that's the Marvel slate for 2025. Just let that sink in. And the Fantastic Four, we don't even get to figure out who they are, because this isn't the real Fantastic Four from the universe that we knew in phases 1 through 3. This is an alternate reality Fantastic Four, and we don't get an origin story for them because we're just supposed to believe that the origin stories that you may have read in the comics might be the ones that you have for them, but it's left nebulous, and they are, and again, the multiverse, so who really knows? Like, this is the most ungrounded concept I think we have come across, and that's really saying something from a studio that has released things like Quantum Mania. Like, this is ungrounded.
Well, is Reed? I was just going to ask if Reed Richards is doubling as the Mandalorian in this movie, because as far as I can tell, it's so bad they might as well do that. It's just, I have zero faith. You know, I had a lot of hope when, in what was it, 2017, when it was first announced that Disney was buying Fox, because at that point in time, there's a lot of good faith built up between the MCU and its audience. But now, I mean, this is so off the rails. And also, we are how many years out? 8 years out from that happening, and we're finally getting a Fantastic Four movie, and it looks like this. This is like pulling an old bad comic book out of the trash can that you threw away because you knew it was never going to have any value. This is horrible. I just
right. Why should anybody care? Why should we care to go see this movie if it's based in an alternate reality and we don't know where these characters came from? Because we can't assume that we know who they are since they're a multiverse thing.
Well, Pro, I think the reason why we chose to call this a vital MCU film in the headline is because it 100% is. The Fantastic Four and the X-Men have to hit for Marvel to continue to exist in its current form, because you've used up most of the Avengers characters. We don't have an Iron Man anymore that's Tony Stark. We don't have a Captain America anymore that represents America or is Steve Rogers. So the only way forward is to develop the Fantastic Four and X-Men and have them catch fire the way those original Avengers did, and have these be characters that people want to see going forward, that you can expand on for the next decade, that aren't tired, that haven't already told every story they have to tell. If you drop the ball on the Fantastic Four, you've already lost the MCU.
I would compare this to the Spider-Man issue at this point, which, going back and looking at the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films and the Mark Webb Spider-Man films, and then you go to a Spider-Man, the Tom Holland Spider-Man has been robbed of so many good Spider-Man stories in favor of telling Tony Stark adjacent stories. So, I mean, you get there kind of with No Way Home, but yet again, it's a film that bases itself on what happened in other films. Okay, so Tony Stark is now gone, but now we've got Tobey Maguire and we've got Andrew Garfield Spider-Man coming in. So we have yet to get a true just Spider-Man film from the MCU. So this does not give me a lot of hope for what they're doing with the Fantastic Four. There are other things that make me think this could be a good film, but none of them have anything to do with the people that are at Marvel right now, like Michael Giacchino, being in charge of the music, or the fact that we're being told this is nothing like what's in the MCU right now, or Vanessa Kirby, a beautiful dame playing Mrs. Fantastic or the Invisible Woman. There are things that could be good in this movie, but hearing that they're not going to do the origin story and hearing that it isn't going to matter, I don't know. I don't see how this is going to help the MCU long term. I think it's the same thing like when they jumped past all of the good stories in order to get the modern day, the Captain Falcons and the Miss Marvel with weird elastic powers. They skipped over the good stuff in order to get to the modern day stuff that doesn't sell in the comics. So I don't know what they're doing here. I don't know if they're going to go with the Ultimates origin and hint at that, or if they're going to go with the classic origin and go with that and then pretend like neither happened. It makes no sense to me. If they view this with shame, if they view the Mole Man and all that kind of stuff with shame, I'm not interested in this film. Sorry, I've Frank, I think you wanted to talk.
Yeah, no, I just have a theory about what they're trying to do. Was wondering if you were interested in it. Like, the thing that really surprised everyone, at least me, was the introduction of Doctor Doom with Robert Downey Jr. So I think they're doing an origin story with Doctor Doom, but it has to start with Fantastic Four, which I think, as many of us can agree, is a cash grab, because everyone came to watch, Avengers for Iron Man, and now they're casting Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, which is bizarre. But as you say, this is not Fantastic Four from this universe, or like the Avengers universe. It's from another universe, and that's probably going to go into the Avenger universe. So they need to get Robert Downey Jr. in some way in, and so they've changed everything. Plus, I saw how many writers has been on this project, and it's like, yeah, they rewrote a lot of things. So I think that's the origin they're trying to go for.
Well, the other thing is, if they put Doctor Doom in this film, they have hamstrung that character from the beginning, making him a secondary guy who is riding Reed Richards' coattails is such a disservice to the character of Victor Von Doom. Yes, he is a Fantastic Four villain, but he is one of the better villains in the entire Marvel universe. And making him into the guy who went to the same school as Reed Richards, along with everybody else, that lessens him, because all of a sudden you've got Johnny going to the same school as Victor Von Doom. Ridiculous, completely ridiculous, and a disrespect to the Victor Von Doom character. Or if you have him be the guy who happens to also be on the space station, like they did in the Tim Story films, again, giving him electricity powers, totally weird. You have a character who is somebody who could give Doctor Strange trouble, somebody who could give Thanos trouble given the right circumstances, and to have him as we're going to stick him in this film just because we need to get him there. I don't know. There's so many mines for them to step on in this movie right now.
And played by Robert Downey Jr., which means that we come to this knowing that eventually he's going to play Tony Stark again. And I don't care how many people come out and say that's not going to happen. That's not going to be what it happens. You guys don't know. It's like, seriously. You think that they're going to bring back RDJ and that he's not going to play Tony Stark at some point?
Oh, he will.
Really?
I even think they're going to go, because they're introducing Doctor Doom. They are definitely going to go with the Beyonder story. Like, I don't know if you read that, but the Beyonder that comes and pretty much destroy everything and then resets everything. I think that's going to happen, because they just need a reset. That's what they want. It's like they as you stated, they can't go with other characters because people aren't that interested, like Thunderbolts. It's not going to be a smash hit, in my opinion. I don't think so. So they need something. They need a reset.
But Frank, they can't reset because they've got to have Hugh Jackman and Tom Holland for the next 10 years, because none of the characters they introduce get any enthusiasm. So they're stuck in every possible way. We'll see what comes our way, but Fantastic Four not looking good right now. Jonas, let's hit some chats.
Also,
go ahead.
I don't know about you guys, but I am sick and tired of seeing Pedro Pascal in everything. I don't know about you guys, but I am so tired of him.
Frank, over the next 2 years, we may see the closure of that. That window may be not quite so open for poor Pedro after the next 2 years of his movies. We'll see.
Yep.
It is such fun getting to spend time together, folks, but we have come to the end of yet another video. well, that makes the mainstream scratch their heads, pull their hair out, and wonder how is it we continue to do what we do. But you know what we do this for? It's for you. To keep bringing all the knowledge of entertainment, explaining what's going on in Hollyweird each and every day. And you can help us continue on that way by clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those algorithms. It's the notification bell. Share this out on your favorite social media platforms, and we would love to have you drop a comment right on down below. Share your thoughts because, well, your thoughts truly do matter, and we mean it. As we get ready to say goodbye, we end with the common refrain. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.